Yo, happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the past, not going too far in the future. Right now, not too far in the past and not too far in the future. What's up? Give y'all that moment to come in, yeah. To come in this thing. Lunar eclipse. Eclipses pushes things along. It open. Now, first and foremost, I always like to remind us, you know, planetary aspects are things that are connected to what's within us. You know, it's within us, projected outwardly. So yeah, technically, our reality, just like we come across certain people due to what's going on inside of our subconscious. This realm is projected outwardly due to what's going on inside of us. You know, so the moon being eclipsed or the sun being eclipsed represent an energy, you know, eclipsing inside of us, a certain portal open inside of us on that level. Oh, the UK in the house. As a matter of fact, y'all outside of this plane of existence, this plane that, you know what I'm saying, we'll be seeing. I don't know, maybe in UK, but I know like in that side of the quote unquote world, that's where it's gonna be able to be seen as far as the lunar eclipse. But what's up, y'all? Dreadlock Princess, greetings. Morbid Clown, what's up? Yeah, Shay. Yep. Matter of fact, and again, I talk as much as I know about like astrology or whatever, so I don't go deeper than what I know, you know. So for those who are looking for an astrologist guru, you know, this is not technically. I mean, indirectly, I know I talk on stuff that has a deeper vibe, but as far as like just the all knowing all aspects of astrology, I don't, and I keep it real about that. I don't try to be something I'm not, because I'm balancing that situation too. Like I do tap into knowing about these certain astrological aspects, and again, that exists within inside us before it's projected outwardly. But I just kind of know the basics. But again, lunar eclipses is when the sun, and again, it's a representation of energies. So like that inner aspect of ourselves, you know, with the moon energy, the moon kind of connected to again the emotions, the subconscious, our inner realm, what truly goes on deep inside of us, blocking out the sun. The sun is kind of like external, how we present ourselves to the world, and that's being blocked during a solar eclipse. As a matter of fact, in a solar eclipse is a new moon basically. So that deals with like more of a new beginnings and starting new things. This lunar eclipse is basically a full moon that's being blocked out by the earth. All right. Word, I'm back, y'all. The again, I was on the lunar eclipse energy is when the earth energy is blocking, blocking the moon, and it's basically like making the earth energy is more relevant, you know, than the moon energy. Again, the moon still energy is still going to be felt and tapped into, but again, the symbology of a lunar eclipse. For one, again, it's a full moon, so it's things like coming to an end. A lot of releasing aspects and things coming to the forefront, of like what happened during the new moon, and the new moon is actually, those new beginnings are setting off to something new and starting something. And so like we're again the lunar eclipse, so say for instance the earth energy deals with being grounded, deals with foundation, you know, values, nurturing, stability, it deals with our bodysuit, and I realized too how I've been feeling that energy like early in the game. Well, for one, coming with change, of course, but like I ran 5 miles today, and just seeing that connection of like the lunar eclipse again. Well, for one, you got a lot of planetary placements that's connected with the Capricorn energy and Earth signs in general. So the general energy is going to be again by the Earth energy, like what we value, being grounded, being nurturing, stability, foundation, dealing with our body in this physical realm, because also what's going to be coming up to the forefront is like the aspect of what we came to do in these little, let me say physical bodies, but physical bodies for lack of a better word, what we came to do in this lifetime in these little physical bodies and doing what we gotta do, because that's the hence the aspect of the reincarnation cycle is if you come here and you don't fulfill your soul destiny and what you came down here to do, you gonna when you transition, you're gonna feel like, oh, I gotta come back because I didn't do this. So you want to be, fulfilling, your dreams, fulfilling your destiny to the fullest. And also a theme of this lunar eclipse is gonna be like, making sure you're doing what you feel you should be doing and not listening to the crowd, which I'm gonna speak on some other aspects. But making sure you're not listening to others and how you should govern your life. It's like right now is the moment to, be tapping into what you feel you should be doing. Like point blank period. But I'm gonna get more into some other aspects. And since somebody talking about numbers, seeing 1, 2, 3, you know, uh, let's see, add the numbers up. If you get a sequence of numbers, add them up. If y'all know how to add up the numbers, like 1, 2, 3 would be 6 basically, and then let's see that 8, that'd be 9, and then that'll be, so 818 will be basically the energy of 8. You know, that's kind of tapping into abundance and prosperity. That infinite flow of energy. Also connected to the divine feminine energy, hence why the curves throughout that letter, curvy, because throughout that number, because the curves represent the feminine energy and straight lines represent the masculine, so numbers speak in that aspect as well. So that's always something to be aware of. Because matter of fact, with this let's see, this lunar eclipse is on the first month, 10th day, 2020. And when you add all those numbers up, it'll come up to when you add the 1 plus 10, that equals 11, and then 11 is 2. And then you got 2, 2, 2 across the board, so it's 2, 20, 20, and then you add those 3 up, and it's 6. And when any number is like in threes, it all goes back to 3, 6, and 9. Whenever you add it, it's going to either add up to one of those numbers, and that kind of shows the accuracy of one of the aspects of showing the accuracy of like Nikola Tesla talking about how 3, 6, and 9 are important numbers, but it's dealing with that 2, 2, 2 energy. So 2 in general, deals with the Venus energy, sensitivity or sensuality, being diplomatic, dealing with relationship aspects, being supportive, being a peacemaker, like being in the energy of the 2. And then some other aspects, so for one, aspects of love and relationships will become more relevant right now. You'll see that coming up. So aligning, and matter of fact, aligning in general with people in our life that best suits us. Because another thing too, that again, this full moon energy is ending cycle, so we're releasing any and all things that doesn't serve our highest good, And then again, also with the eclipse speeds things up. So for one, expect the unexpected. expect the unexpected and accepting the unknown, you know what I'm saying? Be ready for some things to really just like, oh shit, I didn't expect this to pop up like this popped up, you know. But it's all gonna be to, serve our highest good, serve our destiny. And I've came across the analogy of like, picture you running across a bridge, because again, like leaving our past behind us, because you cannot, create something new or take on a new habit if you're still holding on to old habits or old people, places, and things. And and it's not to, oh, I hate this old person, place, or thing, or it's not resenting it. It's just realizing, all right, within my soul purpose, I chose to come down here and align with this destiny and not allowing anything to hold you back. You know, so that's something that's relevant. I know for myself too, like dealing with the North Node, South Node, which deals with the moon and the karmic energies, with the South Node being the aspect of like what our past lives was about, you know. And for me, my South Node was Libra, so the past life of like codependency or super dependent on relationships, you know, and in this lifetime I'm supposed to be practiced. Every sign has its opposite sign, like Gemini to Sagittarius, I think it's Taurus to Scorpio, but don't quote me on that, but if you look at the wheel you'll be able to see it. But and then the North Node deals with the energy that you are embodying in this lifetime that may be more new to you. Because again, the South Node energy is what you're familiar with from the past. You constantly had incarnations dealing with this energy or expressing this energy. And the Libra energy for myself, like again, like the uh, it's not necessarily putting others' insight or opinions or whatever over yours. To well, it can get to that. It could get to the codependency, or you looking to please the crowd, or like, oh, I wonder what so and so think about me making this decision. Like, and it's like, nah, in which I feel like that's something for all of us right now. Again, like it's to tap into the aspect of what you feel you should be tapping into, you know what I'm saying? And for my North Node, that's what the Aries about, so in order for me to even align with a relationship, it might sound paradoxical, but I have to embody the Aries energy and be strong within, aligning with myself on what I'm creating, in order for me to be in a relationship with somebody. I have to be sure of myself and sure of what, I'm wanting to create, in this lifetime. But yeah, checking out your natal chart and checking out the different little nodes is very key. But yeah, the 222 energy is definitely coming through. It's also speaking of the aspect of balance, balancing the yin and yang, the feminine, masculine, you know. And again, positive aspects coming in and cleaning out the negative influences that hinder you from your highest good. And again, when I say positive and negative, everything has positive and negative in it. Even a situation that may seem, positive, but in the sense of like again, like things that are quote unquote, for lack of a better word, beneficial towards you aligning with your destiny. You want to be aligning with those things and not be aligning with the things that are unbeneficial towards your destiny, because the things that are unbeneficial towards your destiny can be seen as a positive thing, because of its existence, it's pushing you to align with your destiny. So you see how it's technically uh, no good or bad to it, because even the quote unquote bad could be something that's good for you in that sense of it. Like you get a flat tire, but then you had to sit on side the road and do something, and the person who helped you was the person who you end up marrying, or helping you deal with some type of business aspect or whatever, or you lose a certain job and oh that's bad, man, that's fucked up, but then you get a new opportunity, you know what I'm saying, or you get a house foreclosure and it's like, oh man, that's fucked up, that's negative, but then you end up lining up with your new home or whatever the case may be. So you know, uh always again be aware that the positive and negative exists in everything, because you could be getting a lot of things and like, oh yeah, this is great, oh this is good, but then it's enabling you or handicapping you from becoming your greatest version, in some way, form, or fashion. Like again, it's all forgot what's the word of subjective, objective, but just based on perception, let's just say, in that sense of it. So, again, with the two energies, something new is coming. Prepare for the opportunities. Like I use the aspect of like being open for the jump shot. Like clear things up and be ready to take that shot. Like when you're playing basketball, if you're not paying attention, when somebody passing you the ball, bam, the ball hits you in the head. You know what I'm saying? And you don't be ready for that shot. Now again, because there's certain things again that we signed up to line up with, so it's gonna push us to it. You have to be extremely in a place of this, just trying not to continuously grow at this aspect. So definitely again, like it's gonna be speeding up our transformation. You know, and not speeding it up to the point of where you like because again, like chakras are wheels, and if they are sped up too fast, you could strip your gears just as above so below, like a car. If you like shifting too fast, you could mess up your transmission. Literally, and no coincidence, like your transmission, like you're transmitting, downloads and stuff like that. You can mess up your transmission or your gears, you know, uh, if you shifting too abruptly, but again, it's allowing for us to shift through the path of least resistance and what's best for, our unique build in that sense of it. And again, it's about releasing, purging, and detoxing, removing complacent energy, making needed changes, and again, things coming to an end in order for the new things to begin, and strong major turning points coming through. Again, like being that food card energy is still, up there. Like again, like realizing to be open to, to have intentions without expectations, without a preconceived notion. That's how we learn, you know. It's by stepping into something and being open to learn all of it and not like, oh, well, I already know about this, like to be open to allowing for that information to come in. And then also you see how allegory comes into play with this situation, like with ancient stories, you know, like talk about like say for instance with a lunar eclipse, like how the earth again is blocking out the sunlight, but the earth had like a name for it, like Gaia, what I'm saying, the sun connected to Ra, connected to Papa Legba, connected to Apollo, in what is Greek or Roman pantheon. The sun is also connected to the Leo energy or the lion. The moon connected to the Cancer or the crab, connected to the yin and yang energy, connected to what was that? Oh, Hecate. But you hear these stories of like, oh, Hecate went into the underworld to do this, or you might hear the lion scraped at the crab in these times, and the crab was fighting with the lion, or whatever, in a personification of the sun energy and the moon energy being an eclipse, or whatever the case may be. So again, that's how allegory always work. In a lot of these, mythologies is personified, as like from a human perspective to allow for us to grasp deeper concepts, of this reality. Because again, At this point, again, realizing more and more that we are in a simulation. We are in a matrix realm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this body is a hologram, and at the same time realizing how to have that understanding and still balance the aspect of, being in our humanity, and again, aligning with our destiny, you know, or our soul mission, you know, like, and with dealing with, eclipse and things of this nature, again, like, it's for, inner awareness, using this insight to master our inner universe and our human experience, knowing our soul mission in this lifetime, and realize how to leave this, again, is about how can I leave out of this, because this is like a jailhouse, you know what I'm saying? And what I need to be doing in my destiny in this lifetime in order to make sure that I'm transitioning from out of this realm, because a lot of us, are not really new to this realm, like being somebody who's been on a 40-year bid, compared to somebody who's doing their first year in jail or whatever. Some of us, they've been around for a minute, and hence the personification too of, like, having a stronger tan, because, it's a representation of you been coming underneath this sun a bunch of times. For some of us, it's time for us to, break out of this jailhouse in that sense. But, and speaking of allegory too, I think about, I was watching Star Wars, and how the Republic or whatever was like trying to block all the trade routes in the universe or in the galaxy or whatever. And, again, as above, so below, as within, so without, our inner, our body is like a universe. And seeing, like, the energies of those beings of the Republic, being like blockages in bodies and meridians that stopping the flow of chi. The chi energy being like, say for instance, the resources or the goods that's being traded throughout our inner galaxy. But if it's not able to reach its destination, then that's a blockage. You know what I'm saying? That causes some type of blockage. And causes us to operate in a manner that may not be efficient or to our highest good, will align with our destiny, so to speak. The planets like chakras, or that whole analogy with the inner realm. But yeah, definitely, again, and also you're gonna see, like, the lunar eclipse is hitting energies for all, this whole plane of existence, you know. But it's gonna be, how I said, it's gonna affect what they call the Eastern Hemisphere. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, whether this place was, flat all around, not getting into that. I done already spoke on what I feel about that. But like, east, west, technically it is no. All right. So that's another aspect, as I was gonna say. Like, the lunar eclipse is gonna be visible in the quote unquote Eastern Hemisphere, so it's gonna cause a lot of the strong, how I say, it's gonna affect people, because those people are gonna be able to see it, So a lot of, like, I think about, like, the Nation of Islam aspect, because again, also the divine feminine energy, is coming up a little more. And again, not to overpower the masculine, but to create a balance, because everything has been overly masculinized. And again, back to equity. If the scale has been like this, if you're familiar with the Libra scale, say for instance, the heavier side is the lower side, so there's masculinity where all the weight been being put, and it's the feminine energy. In order to make the scale balance, you know, you got to put weight just on this side. Because if you put the same amount of weight on both sides, the scale is going to stay like this, you know. So it's like equity. It's like putting some weight on this side of the scale. So it get to a point like this, and then it'll, become more balanced in that sense of it. You know? But yeah, definitely some strong realizations for that. Again, that side of go because they're actually gonna be seeing it, you know. So it's gonna have like a certain little effect on that part of the globe. But yeah, right now, again, like the Earth is casting this shadow over the moon, and so we're gonna be again dealing with a lot of the aspects of the Earth energy, like creating stability, having a foundation, dealing with our nurturing energy, being grounded, dealing with our values, dealing with our bodysuit, and may find yourself wanting to detox in some way, form, or fashion. Tapping into sensual energy, being diligent and tactful and hardworking, having patience and discipline, key aspects that'll be popping up. And then on the negative aspect, because everything has its positive or negative, be aware to not fall too much, in which these aspects will pop up. But again, it's just a marker for you to align with the aspect that is beneficial, for you. Because again, positive or negative, they both uh, within the quote unquote positive things or within the quote unquote negative things, there exists a positive and negative to each one. There's a positive and a negative to positive stuff, and there's a positive and a negative to negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? But being aware of stubbornness, self-abnegating energies, which is denial of one's own interest to favor other people. And again, that's back to that aspect again, like you don't want to be putting others' energy above yours or others' in opinions. Matter of fact, like one of the aspects of dreaming about a spectator sport is personifying as the symbol of you being a spectator to what other people's telling you, and instead of like living your life the way you feel you should align with it, you're almost like a spectator at a game where other people are dictating you know uh, what's going on in your game, in that sense of it. So you definitely don't want to deny your own interests to favor other people. you know so that energy, again, like a negative aspect of that. And then again, like the sun energy is being blocked out. So identity and expressiveness, pride, and just the external aspects are being blocked out. You know, and again, it's about like our bodysuit, about our physical, aspect more so. And again, clearing, karmic energies, dealing with our physical aspect. But let's see. Let me get up in these. Oh, and the sixth energy. The sixth energy, deals with being responsible, caring, protective, helpful, compassionate. But also, you want to, again, like the negative aspects of it is like slavish and kind of giving yourself too much to others. You know, six also deals with sex, or 666, the carbon bodysuit. You know what I'm saying? This little bodysuit and this hologram we're using. Because it took sex to make this little bodysuit. So to have some type of connection with our our sex life. Because again, yeah, 222 uh it also equals six, and dealing with the six energy as well. So taking care of ourselves, and making sure you're not again, putting other people's energy before yours in this moment, because you definitely want to, again, like to create your own, or line up with your own destiny. You know, you gotta be aligning with yourself, you know, first and foremost. You know, can't let the aspect of like, you know, family members or close friends, or we say close friend, but you know, family members, friends, whoever, you know, dictate what's going on in your reality. I'll try to influence you from making certain decisions. But anyway, again, that eclipse energy is moving things fast. So again, you're gonna feel like, you know, already, you know, you've been feeling like shifts and changes coming in your reality. I'm pretty sure, you know, so that's definitely gonna again move things along in that sense of it. You're gonna even feel it like as a support, like you're gonna feel like certain things that you would probably, you know that was hindering and trying to let go, is gonna be feeling like it's coming more easier to let that go, whatever it may be, you know. So it's also that energy as well. Now, in fact, don't forget, if you vibing with the information, hit the like button. Uh, Keandre Riley with the herb smoke, you know, it's aligning with it in a way that's beneficial to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, herb smoke, you know, could, and you'll feel it for yourself, because some people could smoke herb and still tap into their dreams. You know what I'm saying? Some people smoke herb and still be productive. You know, but and then on another side, some people smoke herb and then they just fucking not doing shit, or you know, or it's clouding up their vision. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you could smoke herb and it helps to align you with your breath work very strongly. Like, my breathing techniques and meditating becomes amplified, you know, when I smoke herb. But and also again, like seeing the quantity, you know, like how much are you smoking, and are, you know, again, are you overdoing it, you know, quote unquote, to a place where, you know, it's hindering you from lining up with your destiny, or are you doing it in a balanced manner, you know what I'm saying, where you're smoking herb when it is that moment to, you know, ground and kind of, you know, slow things up in your reality. Because if you're always like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you know, herb would help balance you out, you know what I'm saying, in some cases. And again, to each his own. You know, I know people who still eat meat and lucid dream, you know, vividly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no one aspect to this situation, you know. Hence why it becomes it could throw you off by comparing yourself to someone else. You know, like comparing yourself to someone else definitely will throw off your whole alignment, because your journey, it's not, you know, like, again, yeah, when I go through things, it could be people that may be going through those certain things at the same time and could relate and get some insight from hearing my story, you know, and vice versa. But not to the point of like where we always comparing ourselves to somebody else's reality, because again, we have our own destiny that we're aligned with, that at the end of the day, that's uniquely different from the next. But yeah, you know, just that aspect of seeing how, you know, herb aligns for you uniquely in your realm. You know, you don't necessarily have to quit, because I've caught the realization that I don't have to be extreme about certain levels of like fasting and not smoking herb and things of this nature. Because for some of us, if we've been being extreme, or also like with judgment, like not judging foods, not judging certain substances and stuff like that, because the positive and negative exists in everything. You know, like, you judge water, all water is good. No, water ain't. Water has a positive and a negative aspect. You drink too much of it, you could fucking drown out your cells and some extent transition yourself, you know, or you could drown from water, you know what I'm saying, or water could flood shit out, you know what I'm saying. It also brings life, and it's very healthy for the body suit. You know what I'm saying? But it's positive and negative to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no uh, one side to things, and that's what we coming into the realization of as well. Like it's a positive and negative to dealing with astrology. Because you could deal with it too, get insight and align with things, or you could be too extreme on it where you allowing for it to like almost, you know, dictate your every move in a way where you're no longer really lining up with your inner source and your inner, guidance system, and just always listening to the external or looking at it from an external aspect when it's really energies that exist inside of you being projected outwardly, you know. So it's also that aspect as well, But again, it's depending on your own alignment, you know. Young and young, you find out your south node by going to a natal chart calculator. I don't know the name of one, but go to a natal chart calculator, and you'll get that insight. Yeah, Kelsey. Yep. Yeah, like, cause even for myself, like I've been off of it, pretty strongly. You know what I'm saying? So when that moment comes, cause again, realizing that you may be being rigid, like this is not about, it's about going with the flow of things. You know what I'm saying? And allowing for your, again, to take away judgment, cause sometimes we, again, like you don't want to be judging anything as right or wrong or good or bad. Herb is neither good or bad. Anything could be taken to an abusive place. Like, you think about crystals. All crystals are good. No, it got a positive and negative to crystals. You could be using them where you externally dependent on them. You know, uh, and it's taking you to a place where you misaligning because you're so dependent on them. Are you use them in a way that's not beneficial to your highest good? As a matter of fact, like right now, I ain't got nothing on. Taking a little break in this moment. Like it's you know everything cycles, and another thing too, like realizing the balance of things where you know like it's like a pendulum swing. Everything cycles, back and forth. And if you go way in this extreme, then the pendulum gotta swing back this way, you know. So hence also an aspect of balance, like allowing for the pendulum, you know, to not go into extremes. And I would even say though, to each his own, because it's still in essence still gonna balance itself out. So if you don't mind, like, oh, if you go extremely positive, then you realize that you're gonna have to go into extremely negative aspect, and if you're cool with that, then that aligns for you, then that's what's up. But again, because the balance doesn't mean, because another sneaky little way that numbness or like that aspect of like I'm gonna just be just blank face all the time, is like the aspect of like balance from a neutral aspect of like being blank face, like, oh, I'm not going to express happiness or sadness. I'm not going to, I'm gonna just be like, no, you have those expressions, you're just not getting in the extremes of them, and keeping the pendulum from swinging so far off. But again, like you're gonna express some happiness, and it'll be moments where you'll have some sadness, or have a again, like the positive and negative emotions, it's like a ladder, what I'm saying? And in order to climb up and down that ladder, you can't deny any steps on that ladder. So from the positive, because again, like the, the quote unquote positive aspect exists because of its negative counterpart. So if you try to take one away, it takes the other away, in that sense of it. So we just, when we talk about balance, it's like not being extreme, like, and again, going with the flow of our now moment, like in certain moments it'll be a moment for you to drink a little wine, and then it'll be a little moment for you to fast. It'll be a moment for you to have a nice solid meal. It'll be a moment for you to go running and exercise, and then it'll be a moment for you to, enjoy yourself with, with some people you resonate with, whatever the case. Like it, it's again like moment to moment, and I now without over analyzing it and without trying to micromanage things, because that's another thing that's gonna come up. Is realizing like you're not gonna be able to micromanage things, and hence why certain things didn't align for you at some point. Because you were probably in a state of trying to micromanage it. You know, and more so coming from your subconscious programming is coming from like the humanity aspect of like the ego humanity. So things didn't line up because it was coming from that space and not because it wasn't necessarily like a line or like your intuition lied to you. It was more so you was aligned with some type of logical aspect or whatever, what I'm saying, not aligned with higher self. And that's another thing, becoming more in tune with your inner guidance system, your inner voice. Because like I always tell people, I'm not your guru. I'm not, it's not for me to be no preacher, no guru, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to help you to do all this on your own and possibly be, quote unquote, greater than me. At tapping into these energies. Like my consultations, my tarot card readings. That's not for you to be dependent on it. It's like to help for you to gain, some insight. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you don't have to, constantly come back for that insight. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause as I'm creating these different things, it's for people who, going through their growth. So, again, like they got people who used to watch my YouTube channel heavy that don't know much as much or at all because they done got what they need, you know what I'm saying? Like they got what they needed from the things I was speaking on. And it's time for them to shift into a different, place, you know. And that's again like that's an aspect of that, like I'm not trying to, because again that's paradoxical, or from the skillet to the frying pan, if we talking about like not being like how the pharmacies and the doctor system got you dependent on you know uh pills, and depending on them, like they create a situation where you have to keep going back to them. you know we don't want to create that type of situation ourselves. If I'm helping you heal in some way, form, or fashion, I'm gonna do it in a way that helps for you more and more to not have to come back to me. You know what I'm saying? And learn how to heal yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day. And again, no good or bad, right or wrong, or nothing's wrong with, like again, go and get some Reiki, healings and things of this nature. But that's to align us to a point where we're able to tap into that alignment on our own, what I'm saying, and not have to constantly, go back to somebody, in that guru aspect, or that dependent on external all the time, and that's in that sense of it. Because yes, we have an inner world and an external world. Hence why, like, again, so many people that you probably, tapped into watching on YouTube, whatever, I tell you like, yeah, it's about going inside and tapping into your own inner intuition, but at the same time doing videos or writing books, or what I'm saying, like creating external sources for people to tap into, and it would seem paradoxical, but that's the nature of this place we're in. It's like it's in and out. You know, the moon and the sun and the zodiac signs exist within my body, and then they are projected outwardly as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, our higher self takes us through the path of least resistance. So if I'm, always watching, Netflix at the moment in my life, then higher self, like, all right, the path of least resistance is to guide to guide you to a place of watching a certain show that's going to give you insight that's, needed for your moment. Or if you're taking a fast from like watching anything, then, You know, your inner guidance is gonna guide you. You know what I'm saying? From a perspective of like leading you to, like allowing for a person to say something that aligns with you. Because again, we are gonna get a lot of inner guidance, but again, you know, everything is not coming to us due to some, you know, certain little subconscious blockages and you know, or just a subconscious perspective. I wouldn't even say a blockage in that sense, but like a certain perspective that's not allowing for us to align with certain information. But again, everything is, you know, inside of us, you know, in that sense of it. And again, it reflects outwardly, you know, like again, if you're doubting yourself, if you got like a little aspect of doubt within yourself about something, it's also going to manifest as a person outside of you that's like talking about doubting whatever situation you doubting. And it's for you to, you know, again, like realize that and not agree with the external aspect. Because if you agree with the external aspect, then that brings you even more into that doubt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like realizing like everything starts off internally, then reflects, you know, externally. Like the tesseract. Like if you look up tesseract, I forgot how you spell it. Tesseract, I think. But you know, it's like the cube inside the cube, and then if you look at the 3D animation of it moving, you know, it's like the inner cube expands outward as the outer cube expand inward, and then the inner cube expand, like just constantly in that motion. And that's like the aspect of this realm, you know, like our inside, you know, reflects externally, you know what I'm saying, and kind of goes back internally, but again, it's about as it projects outwardly, you know, you're not getting lost in the sauce of like just following the external, like seeing the balance, you know what I'm saying, of inside and out, you know, because our reflections, you know, are, you know, aspects of our inner universe and what's going in our inner universe, and can be also, again, like aspects where, you know, is a certain message we're not really picking up from our inner voice, so it comes to us, uh, you know, externally, you know, to give us that insight. But yeah. Oh, and also, this lunar eclipse is going to be connected to the energy of the last lunar eclipse. So eclipse energies like are connected to each other. So like the last lunar eclipse was July 27, 2018. So so when whatever you was dealing with in July 27, 2018, that's going to be the themes of what you're dealing with right now, you know, because I realize my cycles that I've been going through in different moments, you know, and how things kind of, you know, been shifting to some of the same areas, you know, due to, again, like from past eclipse, and when another eclipse come through, or like a certain planetary, say for instance, a certain planetary aspect is lined up in the way it was whenever I was 12 years old, then I'm gonna have like little aspects of when I was 12 years old like popping up, because you know those energies, and again I don't wanna, those energies within those planetary line, like the way the nadis and meridians and chakras and inner zodiac signs and planetary energies lined up within, is the same as it was when I was 12 years old. So I'm gonna be experiencing some of those same themes from when I was 12 years old, or again with this lunar eclipse from July 27, 2018, you know, I'm gonna be experiencing some of these themes. And as I'm saying this again, you know, it's all about trust, trusting in the source, trusting in the self. Because like I realized for myself without researching, I was doing a certain exercise for my sacral chakra. It's like laying on my back and doing leg kicks. And like I've been doing it for a nice little while, and then come to a book and see that, oh shit, this is for your sacral chakra. You know, so realizing like whenever we're not overthinking things and trying to micromanage and just kind of line for ourselves to be, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it goes back to, like, being in our moment to the fullest, not too far in the future, not too far in the past, and not trying to micromanage everything and just just be, because that's you're just being, and not having that filter of like trying to logically micromanage everything, that inner guidance is gonna flow through more fluently. But yeah, Jesse Singh, what's up? What's up? Yeah, you talking about the smoking aspect? Yeah, like it again, it's gonna serve a purpose in a certain in a certain moment. But I'm allowing for that moment to come, like it's just gonna come to me, and it'll align, with ease. I'm not gonna have to chase nobody down for no herb, cause that's another thing too. If it's like, well, you gotta like fight to get whatever it is. In a lot of cases, it may not be aligned for you in that moment, compared to it coming to you pretty easy. And that's a balanced situation too. Just because it comes to you easy doesn't mean always that it may be that moment for you to smoke, because you may have been like low key on a subconscious level of, you know, feeling like, all right, I wanna smoke. So it pops up as somebody like, oh, bro, I got that herb for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's feeling it in your own alignment again. Like you know when you're doing something to a place of where it's hindering you from aligning, with your soul destiny. And again, it's no good, bad, right or wrong. Everything has its seasons and its cycles. You know what I'm saying? So to not again try to like trip out or overly micromanage or be rigid about certain things. But yeah, matter of fact, good crystals to be working with right now would be like any black crystals, a jet, black tourmaline, black obsidian. Be aware of how you work with black obsidian. How that go. I got videos on that. But hematite. But again, like earth energies, agate. You know, uh, like any type of agate that may be brown or black or something of that nature. Onyx. You know, like but grounding crystals would be real beneficial in aligning with this again, like with this earth energies that's coming through. And that doesn't mean, as I'm saying this too, as another thing, like that doesn't mean that you can't work with any other crystal outside of what I just named, or uh, like you could use other crystals that tap into other elements, but again, just for the benefits of aligning with this earth energy that's coming through, you know, again, like the black crystals is what helps for you to align with that. Again, because at the end of the day, you gotta follow follow spirit, follow your soul. Yeah, Rastafarian. Yep, the new year is coming upon us. Again, the Gregorian. Like I treated this new year like still dealing with the Christmas energy, like sort of death and rebirth energy. Because again, the winter time, it's things are, look at nature, wintertime is hibernation, going within. It's cold outside, we going in, and it's more darker during the wintertime, just like it's dark whenever you close your eyes to like go within yourself, you know. So it's like a real reflective moment. That doesn't mean we're not taking actions. You know what I'm saying? It just means, that it's just more of, that moment to, be more reflective and go inward more. And then the spring is really the new year, you know what I'm saying? Like springing into action, and things sprouting and growing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the new year. I mean, on a deeper level, working with whatever, like you could get a fake crystal, and if you don't know it, again, like, cause it all goes back to our subconscious on a deeper level. It all goes back to our subconscious. Like if you could be wearing something that's not made out of a crystal, but it provides a certain energy to you. If like, if your grandmother gave you a certain little pendant, and she and she was like, baby, this gonna protect you and this and that, and just touch this pendant whenever you're feeling alone and this, and then you gonna feel good. You know, that's keyed into your subconscious. So whenever you touch that little locket, shit, that little locket made out of tin or whatever kind of metal. Shit, it could be out of something that people be mostly allergic to. I think nickel. I'm say allergic to, but again, that's all hologram, which all goes back to the subconscious. But anyway, you know, that little pendant, fucking create that energy that my mom told you that energy, that you're gonna feel when you grab that little locket or that little keychain or whatever it is. So in deeper aspects, it all goes back to the subconscious mind, but it is it's like a balance. The subconscious mind and things do give off a certain vibration. You eat certain foods that has a certain vibration to it, but you could neutralize that vibration depending, on your subconscious programming and how do you program your subconscious. Because you could eat a certain food that other people may label as bad and unhealthy, but if you're not looking at it strongly in that level, like you're truly subconsciously programmed to not judge it and label it, then cause like I eat something and I'll be in that mode of like I'm not even looking at it. Nowhere is bad or good or none of that. Like it's like all right, food and everything just continues to be in alignment. I had a strong realization about the balance of polarities in in the whole aspect of like seeing a positive and negative in everything, like and get more insight on it after I ate a plate of cabbage and black eyed peas that had meat in it. You know, but again, it's that balance of like being in the moment. Like I realized, and it had that in the Gnostic scriptures. Quote unquote, Jesus said, "It's not about what you put into your mouth that's foul, but what comes out." Like what you speaking into existence, like what's going on in your subconscious mind. And not necessarily, again, because and to each his own. I'm not telling anybody to eat a certain type of way or none of that. Cause just like when I put videos up of like, hey, I'm drinking this green juice or I'm eating this or eating that, it's just showing you what I'm aligning with and resonating with in my moment. It's not to say, hey, you gotta drink this or eat this too, or this is what's best for you too. Like nah. It's just again, it's all on your own alignment at the end of the day. But that's basically it, though, y'all. Again, major turning points, letting the old aspects go, letting the previous spaces, because we don't want to see things like, look at like, oh, going backwards or this and that. It's something negative or it's both. It's a positive and a negative to you being in a previous space, because once you see that, all right, this previous space, you know, you constantly in it, and it allows for you to see, oh, it no longer serves me, so let me move to this, quote unquote newer space, you know. And then at some point, that new space could, again, it'll display positive and negative aspects, you know, like the positive and negative is in everything, just depending on how you look at it. Like all my video keep crashing on YouTube, but the positive aspect to that is, this, that, or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always something, deeper in that sense of it. But yeah, I'm about to go. That's basically it. Again, we're gonna be tapping more into exposing aspects of this matrix realm and realizing things are much more, deeper than we expect. And which I done spoke on aspects of this, but like, like realizing like we're in some type of simulation. We're almost like on some type of petri dish where, you know, again, like almost that aspect, like I say almost, but in essence, what I feel a lot of moments is that aspect of like the Titan story. Like we have like a primordial essence within our little holographic bodysuit. We got like a primordial essence, and the aspect of what runs this matrix or whatever is more of like a younger energy, so to speak, and not as primordial as our soul essence, and hence the jealousy. Like again, the Gnostic scriptures. If you type in universal frequencies and Gnostic, it'll pop up. Uh, but the Yadala broth and Sophia Pistis story, you know, but these things are coming more and more to light, you know, like and realizing too, because that's what I'm getting back to, is making sure like I'm expressing things from where I'm at. Like I'm no longer gonna be trying to make videos to allow for people, like going backwards in concepts or trying to like, yeah, I wanna everything I wanna have it in like quote unquote layman's terms, to where the average person could, get it. But I'm not gonna be like going backwards into concepts, like I'm gonna speak on like again like this shit is a matrix or this and that. Like I don't, whether a person get it or not, that's up to what they align with and if they're meant to even get that aspect in this lifetime. But I'm not gonna not speak on, some of these things that may be seen as like, oh, that's trippy, or that's out there, quote unquote. It's like, well, if you don't catch it, then it is what it is, in that essence of it. You know. Yeah, we definitely. Again, that's another thing I wrote down. Like in the paradoxical nature with this eclipse, we might get to realizations of realizing, more and more to not even fucking fuck with, or at least from the external aspect, like with astrology, because like what I did, again, like the zodiac signs are kind of like archonic energies. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like an archon, or like again like the 12 movie specialists. That got us implemented a certain energy. You know what I'm saying, within this reality, and it's not for us to worship those energies or be you know overly governed by paying attention to these aspects on that level. It just helps. Again, like it helps to understand it more and understand the fullness and the wholeness of our being. Also, with the aspect of embracing our shadow aspect, embracing our quote unquote demons or our flaws. You know, all those aspects are to be embraced and not for us to be against it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that the New Age movement, doesn't really, preach. And again, like being like water is important, to be like the food card, to be like water and be adaptable and realize, information could shift, but we gotta like let go of preconceived notions, especially if we don't have no inner gnosis about it. Like if you got some inner gnosis about a situation, then yes, you got the inner gnosis about it. So it's not necessarily about stepping away from something that comes from your inner gnosis, but like say for instance certain information where we only read it in books or we only heard it from somebody else's mouth, be prepared for that information that may not be valid as you thought it was, you know unless you got some inner gnosis that supported it, whatever. But again, like stepping into learning something, you can't have a preconceived notion in order to, learn more. You know what I'm saying? Like again, Forrest Gump was like, matter of fact, me and the Queen was talking about that, like the divergent energy, like being able to be all things. You know what I'm saying? Due to not holding on to one thing, like again, like the no thing on the human experience, you know, like and having that full potential to be all things, and like a Zen story where the Zen master had like this reporter, or like something like a reporter come and visit him, and the reporter was getting some tea from him, and the Zen master poured the tea, but then he poured it till it was overfilling, and the reporter like, so with the Zen story and about being like again like the food card, the Zen master pouring the reporters some tea, and he poured it until the cup started overflowing, and the reporter like, man, but like you overflowing my cup. He was like, well, that's the same thing with you with the Zen aspect. Like he was like, the Zen master was like, as a reporter, you stepping into, wanting to learn about these aspects, but you already got preconceived notions. So your cup is already full. So I won't be able to put nothing in your cup about Zen until you empty out your cup with the preconceived notions of what you think Zen is. You know what I'm saying? And allow for me, again, to share with you, what I'm saying, since you only got it from, say, for instance, from external aspects that of people that really wasn't dealing with Zen firsthand. Like, if you want to hold on to those preconceived notions, you won't get the aspect of what Zen is from, you know, and again, for this storyline, as far as like, because again, the Zen master is still a quote unquote external source, but the moral of it is again, like, like to really get it from the quote unquote source or somebody who's tapped into the Zen, you gotta empty out your cup of the preconceived notions of it, in that story. But, but right range was up, but that's basically it, y'all. So, and again, tapping into when we tapping into any astrological aspects is to master our inner universe and to align more you know with that inner aspect, what I'm saying, like to gain self mastery from it, to learn more about our earthly plane experience and what we're doing in this lifetime in order to make sure we align with our destiny, so when we transition we won't be feeling like we got to come back to this place, what I'm saying. So uh, again, it goes all back to self mastery, you know, understanding ourselves to the fullest. Because again, nothing is wrong with astrological aspects and tapping into it. Checking out your natal chart. Your natal chart does tell you, you know, about the energies in connection of, again, like the 12 movie specialists and how you came to act out a certain role in this movie, but you just don't want to be walking around and like, oh well, because I'm a Sun Capricorn, I'm gonna act like this, or I gotta act like this, or because I'm a such and such ascendant, I gotta act like this or be like this. No, you know what I'm saying? So releasing those preconceived notions. Peace, peace. Happy now. Now the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.